Before we get in the video, please like, make sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, go ahead and leave a comment below, and click on the How You Can Help, which brings up the Family Friendly Game website and gives you lots of ideas how you can help us. Thank you.
Really? Paul, we're in Family Friendly Gaming. With me is
Peter.
And we're going to give a reacts to the Sony buying Bungie. Bungie is, of course, one of your favorite companies.
It's also, this is a bit late. It's been a bit.
Yeah, it has.
And lots of other things have happened since then. Microsoft, notably, has had a mixed review of their Halo series, which is, coincidentally, one of the main things Sony seems to have bought Bungie for was...
Halo?
No, series. Like, they want their individual IPs. It seemed to be more of like the media group and less of Sony gaming. Because it seems like they want exclusive rights that are more than just Spider-Man. They're trying to escape from just being the Spider-Man company. You have Disney with everything else, and then they just have a monopoly on Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed a little strange to me. I mean, I thought, why would you even buy Bungie? I mean, I
know definitely for sure why they didn't go with Microsoft is there's probably like two reasons. Number one, they wanted to keep individual like freedom of their company, and so Microsoft would probably like force it to go exclusive to Microsoft and PC.
Yep.
Another thing was they just got Activision. And if they were talking to Activision and Bungie do not have a good relationship.
Yeah.
They don't want to be in the same company.
Didn't Microsoft, own Bungie before? Or?
Yeah, Microsoft owned Bungie before, and then they got away, which is something that was interesting. They did learn from that experience because they lost the child of Halo. Halo stayed with the Microsoft. So when they left Activision, they made sure they kept Destiny. They were like, we are not losing another game we've put this much effort into this many years.
What concerns me and what kind of I wonder when we'll see what happens going forward is so Bungie was owned by Microsoft and they left and they didn't like it. They're owned by Activision, they left, they didn't like it, and now they're owned by Sony, and they have a history of, I don't know if you could say, not playing well with others or not. I mean, like I said, when they went,
I think it's mostly because of the controlling nature, but it's way different with this one, it seems.
I hope so, but I mean, my experiences with Sony is they are control freaks, like psycho control freaks. That's my personal experience working with Sony.
Insomniac, another company, said that they let them have pretty much creative freedom. The people like Spider-Man and stuff.
Okay. So
it's possible, but then again, they showed Sony something that was worth however many billions of dollars. Like it was a lot.
Yeah.
They showed them something that was interesting enough for Sony to drop over $1 billion on. Whether it's their new IP or just the movie rights.
I mean, I would think the movie rights because Sony does all the movie stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they have a new game coming up.
They do have a new game coming up that they've sort of announced, sort of not. They've been hiring for it for a while. But I remember before it looked like they were getting bought by somebody, and they were on Game Pass, so the theory was always going to be Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft's.
And then there was the 30th anniversary, which had a bunch of Halo items. So it was like, oh, it's going to be Microsoft. You see them they get a new building. The money had already come through. They were already being funded by Sony, but we just didn't know who was funding them. Then eventually they just announced it, and it's like, oh, they've just been absorbed.
Yeah.
They announced it the same day that the copyright stuff went through, and there was the antitrust was all done, all that. They're fully owned now. It's not like Activision with Microsoft right now. They announced it as they're trying to get it approved.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Microsoft, there's been lots of issues there, but Activision's had some problems.
Yeah, they're in their own hot water.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see what happens with it. I would love for Bungie to do more games and maybe even finally get to Destiny 3. That would be kind of nice.
They don't plan to make Destiny 3 for another 2 years at least.
Okay.
Because that's the expansions we have announced is up until Lightfall.
Okay, so they have 3 more years of DLC coming.
Lightfall's 2 more years after this one.
Okay.
So this year and then 2 more. So they could make a 3. It depends on what Sony wants. Sony's also done something else. We can just mention it here because it is Sony. They own Crunchyroll and stuff. And they merged Funimation and Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
So all the dubs on one spot, which we've been asking for forever since they're owned together. It's There was no reason to have them separate.
Yeah. I like I said, my experience with Sony dealing with their PR and marketing has been bad, and it's actually continuing to be bad. They're very, very poor at communications. They're very horrible at listening, and they are utter control freaks. In fact, one thing Sony did that always bothered me was they said, "We don't like the fact that we send you press releases and you do edits of them. You don't just copy and paste the press release how we say it. So we're not going to send press releases anymore, and we're going to put stuff on our blog, and you have to then go link to our blog." And I was like, "No, I'm not linking to your blog.
Just not going to cover it."
Yeah, I'm just gonna forget about it. Like, I'll write an original story about it or something, but I'm not gonna just, give you a free advertisement to your site. That's ridiculous, But yeah, they were like complete control freaks, and we've had problems with their probably the last 2 years, maybe even 3 years now, with their PR site. They just don't respond, and you're like, "Hello, I guess you don't want coverage." And so like I've had people ask me, "Well, what about this game?" And I'll say, "Well, you know what? Sony doesn't want your money, because Sony won't bother to respond to us ever. They can't be professional. They couldn't even respond with no comments or no, we don't want to talk to you. No, they just completely ignore you. Just ostrich head in the sand."
At least Bungie's been responsive even after the buy, because
Yeah.
they've sent us stuff.
Bungie has been great. Bungie's been great. I think their Premier Com is their PR firm that they've been working with. If they get stuck into the Sony stuff, it'll just be like, "Well, forget you, Bungie. Sorry." I hate to say it, but I like publishing their press releases about the new DLC to Destiny 2. But if they're gonna go to Sony, it's gonna
I
be
don't
like,
think so.
nope.
They have their own blog. They also have press releases. They have
Okay.
the TWA, which is the This Week at Bungie, but that's separate.
So I guess we'll see. And do you think any future Destinies will go?
It's
Just a
completely
PlayStation?
possible, but they said they don't plan to. There's
Okay.
been no push from Sony to make it that way yet.
Well, and Sony's opened up because like the MLB The Show 22
is on Xbox.
multiple systems. Xbox,
and it's going to be
Switch.
at Xbox Day 1,
Yeah, so they're at least
April 4th.
opening up. Yeah, so that's nice. All right, that's all the thoughts I have. Do you have more thoughts?
No.
I'd like to thank everyone for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.